Hi, this is our first lecture on Chapter 1. It's a chapter that introduces both biology and human biology. It describes the property of life and a lot about how science works. There's a little picture of Albert Einstein there, some vocabulary words on the upper left, and then some things that I would expect us to do. Um, We'll try and go through these, make these programs short within 10 minutes. You can always go back and replay them, replay a section if you want. Okay, so what is biology? Biology is the science that deals with life. It's um, it's includes all the different types of living organisms shown here in this illustration: plants, animals, fungal organisms. Those are all organisms you can see with the naked eye, and then lots of single celled organisms that are too small. We divide them into species by which can exchange uh, genes or traits with one another and reproduce together, and then the larger groups, kingdoms, and domains are arranged based on similarities. All living things have certain features. They regulate their internal environment. They show a definite order. They grow and develop, respond to the environment. They use energy, and they are capable of evolving. They are also organized um, at different levels. These levels of organization include from the very smallest to the very largest structures. And small here includes the chemical levels of atoms and molecules and large molecules or macromolecules. And then structures composed of chemicals together, different types of chemicals working together, like organelles. And then the smallest living units are cells. Larger animals are made of tissue, or larger organisms are made of tissues, groups of cells working together. And those tissues can form organs and organ systems, which are what make up the individual organism. Individual organisms themselves uh, are part of larger systems like populations, where there may be many individuals of the same type that interbreed. And they interact with other species, with their environment, and with the whole world. In science, what where science is the systematic study of living organisms to find out, to answer questions and to find out information. Um, and what do we mean by science? Is it just people wearing lab coats? Why should we study science? Well, science really isn't about lab coats. It's a way of thinking and of solving problems. Um, and in here, solving problem is we often hear of the scientific method. There's really the method is really all about um, using evidence to answer questions and being able to use the evidence to evaluate ideas so that we can get rid of ideas that are probably wrong because they don't agree with the evidence. And we have special rules about evidence um, that it's open to the public, that it has to be something that people can repeat. It has to be the better evidence is predictive, that it can give us new ideas. Okay, and so when we're talking about human biology, we're using science to answer questions about humans. Okay, questions about where we come from, questions about how our body works, questions about many different things. And a good example with science is in how science works is we look for evidence that tells us about answering the question. And so here, when we look for answering questions about where we come from, we look at other animals, and that could be living or extinct, that share features with us. Those features might be in anatomy or behavior. They could be in how we interact with other animals or our environment, ecology, and similarities in genetics. When we look at humans, we can see really closely that we're vertebrates. We have a backbone like fish, like amphibians, like reptiles. We have a backbone, and we have kind of contained within it is a canal that where our nervous cord runs. Animals all have muscle, and they have big brains for vertebrates. They contain a tissue called bone. Um, and so we're definitely vertebrates. And all vertebrates have a distinct head. Among the vertebrates, we most closely resemble other mammals. Okay, all mammals are, or the vast majority of mammals are warm blooded and they have hair. They give birth to live young and they nourish them with milk. We have specialized teeth like canines and incisors and molars. And then mammals all have large brains when you compare them with fish or reptiles, and very flexible behavior. If we ask again, where do we come from, and look at which mammals most closely resemble us, it's the primates. They have grasping fingers and toes. They have binocular vision, so their eyes are on the front of their face and both face forward. And lots of primates have color vision, and even among the mammals, they have large brains. And among the primates, which most closely resemble humans, are the hominoids. Okay, these are animals like orangutans, uh, chimpanzees, things like that. And not only do these animals have grasping hands, they have opposable thumbs. And they don't have claws on these hands, they have nails like us. They have no external tail. They have larger brains than other primates and particularly adaptable behavior. They're likely to live in groups, have a long childhood, and live long, long lives. Okay, when we look at the hominoids that are closest to us are probably the chimpanzees. Um, their anatomy is very, very close to ours, and like us, they can do an extensive amount of language or extensive amounts of learning, and that includes they can learn sign language. They can learn to use tools, and they've been observed using tools in the wild, and that includes weapons. And when we compare them genetically, they're very, very similar to us. And so this is kind of a way that science, how science can investigate things in biology to give us an example of how things work. And so it's just one area. And humans are definitely living organisms that share lots of features with particular other living organisms. Okay, so we'll stop there. Reminder that there is a Moodle quiz this week on Chapter 1. It's open this week. I think it's open until September 3rd because people can do adding and drops for 2 weeks. Most times these quizzes will only be open a week. Get to the quiz early. You can take it as many times as you need to get the grade you want. So don't think you have to take it just once. Only the highest score counts. So take it often. It's good practice. All right, we'll stop there.